Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hope all of you having a great day. So we welcome you all to Tata Telebusiness Services Do Big Digital Conclave, presented by Tata Telebusiness Services and Zoom Video Communications in association with Elets Technomedia on the theme Building Business Resilience with Secured Collaborations. So just to give you a brief about the Do Big Digital Conclave, it's a customer engagement education initiative across cities where industry leaders from across business verticals discuss how digital technologies are being used to deliver compelling products and services and connect faster with customers and optimize cost. So I'm sure we are all aware that the business communication strategy has changed completely due to the pandemic, and all businesses how now we prefer digital only model for continuity and resilience. Here we have our expert speakers who will be discussing about their views on unified business communications and how we are evolving. So I would like to thank our partners, Tata Telebusiness Services and Zoom Video Communications, and speakers and delegates for joining us today. So without wasting many more time, we kickstart our session with our welcome note by Dr. Suresh Shan, Head Innovation and Strategy and Technology, and Mahindra Financial Services Limited.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to Tata Telebusiness Services Do Big Digital Conclave Zoom in association with Elets. Today's topic is on building business resilience with secure collaboration. As the things are going very tough and tight, like where we found how technology can play a major role in terms of getting the corporates, especially the financial institutions, into the next level, where the kind of digital transformation expects to move from corporate digital towards a customer digital, where ensuring every customer as a corporate and try to get connected with them to empower the solutions to get engaged with the customers. As we all are aware how the sudden outbreak of the pandemic and its ongoing effect change our global local business communication channels completely. Business now prefer more and more digital only. The future model for continuity and resilience, besides SME sector in particular, has a lot of opportunities to explore. However, a digital pull and push can help ensure the same through digital transformation. So today we are here to discuss the right relevant possibilities of highly unified on-demand communication solutions. During the discussion on team building of business resilience with secure channels of collaboration, the kind of webinar which we focused with the diversified panel of members who will talk about education, who will talk about the solutions from different sectors, which will be served from Tata Telebusiness Services and Zoom in collaboration with Elets Technomedia. Back to you, Nisha.
Thank you, thank you, Dr. Suresh Shan, for such a great opening remarks. Now we have an interesting keynote session by Professor Ram K. Verma, Chief Mentor, Academics and R&D, Techno India Group. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Suresh. I would say a few words to start with. Besides Chief Mentor, I was also responsible for setting up CDEC at Noida, which has turned out a large number of solutions for the industry, as well as we worked with the government, and therefore I have an insight what government is doing and is planning. Just to start with, I would say that India is growing and growing with a very rapid pace. It has become 5th largest economy and aiming to be a 5 trillion economy. Now, for the IT industry, we have kept something like 1 trillion contribution to this 5 trillion economy. And you have recently all seen what Department of Electronics announced, 10 billion kind of an package of incentive for setting up kind of an, production facilities for semiconductor assembly, testing, and even doing research and development, including manpower development. So industry is growing, and already we are at a level of $200 billion IT and IT-enabled services industry. Hardware is somewhere about 75 billion in terms of the various types of products. It can be enhanced provided we also have the semiconductor input. Because of semiconductor not being available, you all see that every industry is suffering, and even the deliveries of automobiles are being delayed. So we need to have an emphasis on developing this industry. Now, contribution of this industry is very largely seen during the pandemic. The way government have developed efficient digital ecosystem by bringing large scale, very huge projects such as the Aadhaar card system, such as your e-procurement, also the kind of, your GSTN and income tax kind of large, huge project, which have brought in quite a bit of synergy on the ecosystem, and the industries are making use of. Very recently, NESCOM did a survey, and they came out with few kind of trends, and the major shift was seen that there is a pace of acceleration for digital transformation, both at central government, state government, institutions, department, industry, and even your education system. Now, kind of decisions which government has taken, that we can have a degree with 60-40, 40% content being delivered online, calls for very huge kind of a digital infrastructure, digital ecosystem, and the content. So there are major opportunities which are coming, and industry we see today, even government we see today, that project which used to take years to conceive and get delivered, today people are talking of months and very quick rollouts. So all industry, we see that there are very huge opportunities, and this trend where, which has been posed by this pandemic, that is stay at home, maintain distance, have brought in digital communication, and communication particularly, which is a unified communication for digital transformation and continuity of businesses, and the trend and the way the customers today behaving will continue even post pandemic, in terms of their buying habit, in terms of their dealing. The businesses now becoming a hybrid mode, and the way the businesses are being redefined and their workplaces are being redefined, which will have both online and offline kind of systems or hybrid systems, will call for a very huge unified communication system. Thank you. With these words, I think we could proceed further. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for such an interesting keynote, and looking forward to hear you again in our upcoming panel discussion.
Sure.
So next, before we start our next technology session by Mr. Abhijit Roy, I'll take you through a quick live poll. There will be 4 questions displayed on your screen with multiple choice options. You have to select maximum 3 options and submit your opinions. So Here we go. Hope are we good to go? Okay, so I think the poll time is over. So now we are going to be moving ahead with the next interesting technology session, for which I would like to welcome Mr. Abhijit Roy, Deputy General Manager, Product Marketing, Tata Telebusiness Services. Over to you, Mr. Abhijit Roy.
Thank you so much, Nishant, and for this quick introduction. And I'll talk about how you know technology is changing life, how why many of the industries need to take on the journey of evolving themselves into the digital journey, right? Then taking a step forward. So I'll quickly share a few slide of mine, which I would like to talk about it, keeping in mind the time consideration. See, we are in a situation, and as Dr. said, the previous speaker said that this environment or the hybrid environment is going to stay, right? And building forward into this hybrid environment is what we all need to look forward to, and how do you do that? If you look at it, the year has been a year of change, of course. Last 1.5 years, all of us have been going through this dramatic changes. And with this change also, it brings us more and more opportunities to upgrade ourselves to the new digital technologies, right? And collaboration in the right platform plays a huge role in this particular sphere of things. Now, if you look at it, for any kind of organization to build forward, of course, we talk about the times are slightly volatile. You need to be adapted to this new technology change. But when you're building it forward, there are three major blocks in which any kind of organization builds in these times with confidence, right? And there are three constants in the future planning of ours. At first is, if you look at any organization, the talent pool that they have. In today's scenario, the talents are spread all across, right? Or many of us are working from home, and many of us are working from office, many of us are working from our hotels. The talent is spread all across. How to build that source or the link between the collective teams is only going to ensure that we do great at work, right? And collaboration, again, will be one single point which will everything boils down to this: how to bring that collaborative platform in your organization to retain talent and to enhance talent. Second is the way we have been doing business, the transformation journey, right? With this hybrid environment, if you look at it, the way the services have been sold or you bought the services also changed. Look at the ways we have changed ourselves. We have now, most of the transactions are online. We are hardly go to any physical kirana store to get our set of goods on a monthly basis. So there are a lot of transformation that is taking place in this hybrid environment, for which all our organizations need to adapt themselves, right? The way they have been enabling their employees and serving their customers are also going to change. A third very important portion is called trust, because in this environment, in this hybrid environment, how organizations are thinking about their employees, a thoughtful approach to safety, security, and privacy of the workers everywhere is a critical pillar to build forward with confidence, right? Especially in these hybrid times. As I said, workforce is everywhere. It boils down to anywhere, right? All of us are going through the situation day in and day out. We are all working from wherever we can, but we are contributing to the economy that Dr. has talked about, right? And when you're talking about an flexible working environment, when you're talking about to enhance the efficiency of your employees, that's where the flexible working environment improves the performance. That's where we move from an average performance to one of the better performance, the top performance of the world. And this is not only this has been published by multiple resources, that when you are giving a worker an flexible working environment, an environment which time is not a bound, he can work from any environment, he or she will improve his performance, right? And that's where it comes in. I brought some use cases for you just to elaborate on this particular space. Like, for example, the way we have been doing our sales. If it is a sales organization, and that organization has been doing the conventional way of doing sales, in this hybrid times, there will be a set of people who will be, of course, doing their work from online, like the way you are doing. And there will be a set of people who might be going and meeting the customers physically. But how online platform, or how this entire video collaboration is going to impact is, if you look at it, when both the parties have one-to-one video source, the chances of conversion goes up drastically. And that's why, even in this hybrid times, it is important to keep that video connect with one another, very important. The kind of travel time, the kind of cost used to bear when physically traveling from one location to the other, meeting that client, all gets reduced, and you look at increasing the efficiency of typically a sales organization. Look at human resources. The kind of acquisitions that you have been doing, the way you have been retaining your employees. 91% of Generation Z says that technology influenced their job choice, right? All this young generation are influenced by the adoption of technology. The adoption is newer technologies. And that's where if you look at Zoom specifically, and as an operator, they help in improving or building that culture within their organization, where even retaining, speaking with their clients, both internal and external clients, is very private, and it also helps improving the efficiency of the employees. Learning and development. We have been attending multiple sessions. Nowadays, there are multiple courses which are being offered. Right now, also there are multiple courses being offered by various L&D platforms, which helps us to take those video trainings online and be a part of those group meetings, enhance our knowledge, right? So what has happened in the last 1.5 years, 2 years, is that we have evolved ourselves from the conventional training methods, learning methods, to online learning methods. Look at a lot of ventures that has come up. I don't know, a lot of names which has come up, which are helping us to learn and develop ourselves, various kind of courses on this video collaboration platforms, right? IT. We have been talking about IT, and Sir talked about, out of that, the total economy that you're trying to target, 20% would be contributed by IT and ITES. Now, if you look at such a contribution from IT, ITES, right? How is collaboration among this entire thing is going to solve is going to scale up the support and reduce the resolution times. How you have been doing your resolution with your customers, with your employees, always going to go down. Your service support tickets are going down, and this has been a trend all across, right? Engineering team, the way we have been sharing our codes, the way we have been sharing the way we have been collaborating across the global teams, right? We have never thought about it, but nowadays the entire teams and others are collaborating like this. So use cases, the leadership team, like when we do our town halls and all those things, they're all done on platforms which help us to connect with the leaders, ask our questions, whatever be our questions in our mind, with our leadership platform, and it looks like as if we are interacting with them live on the platform, right? Even this platform, this broadcast that is being done to you, you will find it will give you a feature, or it will give you a feeling of being actually in a town hall and attending to the speakers or listening to the speakers, right? So this never stops. The way of learning has evolved drastically over the years, and it will keep on improving as it is, right? Now, if you look at Zoom, right? Zoom is an organization which has been there, which has been delivering a lot of things in the last 1.5 years, 2 years, right? And what they have done is that they have been, in the last few years, they have emerged as one of the promising or even leadership, I would say, quadrant where they say, "Ki we are there to give you the business," right? And does it? It gives that one application and one experience, right? In one single platform, you get each and everything on this particular platform, right? Be it meetings, be it interactions, be it talking with others, be it audio, be it webinars, be it Zoom Room, Zoom application, everything is one single platform. So why specifically Zoom? Because Zoom has been that video collaboration platform. They as an organization have not started on legacy platform. They are more on a video collaboration platform, which makes them much more flexible, much more better to adapt, much more easier to use. Right? That's why, as I said, it is Zoom or any communication platform that is more than meetings. It's more than the kind of solutions or technologies that we're adapting to. Right? Look at the way this particular slide. Look at the way you have been talking with your internal clients. Right? If you look at the internal communications, and people ask me at times, how does any kind of collaboration platform help me? And I divide it into multiple folds, right? Look at the way we have been communicating into our internal communication, right? Be it your internal team meetings, take any organization, be it a sales organization or a financial organization, IT 85, ATS firms, the team meetings are now on hybrid platform. Team meetings are on online platforms. Right? Hence, you use a collaborative platform to do your team meetings. Right? You want to share a file. You want to share a file with someone. You want to chat with someone. You want to do a group chat or a private chat. That's where you use something which is called this a chat or collaborative platform where you just want to chat with someone, right? There are a lot of feedbacks that you can give to you. If you're doing a session, there's a feedback you want to take or give, you can take it, right? So all internal communications are on this kind of platforms. External communications, external presentations. Look at the way we've been engaging right now, like the way your customer engagement, the way we've been hiring, the way we've been doing our professional services, even in the sales demos or demonstrations that have been giving. All this uses a collaborative platform, which is more of which are more external presentation platform. And for all this, you require a service, which is the right service which can allow you to do all this kind of things. Nowadays, collaboration is more not only about meetings, more than meetings. So suppose I want to do, as I said, a town hall, right? And I want to connect to thousands of my employees. How do I do that? That's why you use something called a town hall platform, right? A webinar platform where I can connect, if required, to hundreds or thousands of employees of my own, right? Webinars. All of us are part of those annual meetings, AGMs, all those annual meetings where it's more of we listen to what the leaders are speaking, right? That's why we use a platform called webinars, right? So as I say, this is if you look at this entire collaboration platform, right? It is not one meeting platform at all. It has evolved much beyond it, right? And hence, this is helping these organizations, be it small, medium, or large, to adapt to this new changes, right? And that's what I'm saying. It is very important for all of us to understand that this is going to stay. It's more than meetings. Collaboration is more than meetings. It's more about technology adoption. It's more about building the future with the confidence. And to build the future with the confidence, you need to take the right support from the right technology partner, right product, and then build it with confidence. You need to have a solution which is much more resilient. You need to build a solution, or you need to adapt a solution which will give you the flexibility. You need to build a solution, or you need to adapt a solution which will give you much more better efficiency, right? With this, I would like to park my thoughts out here. This is especially on the partnership between Tata Tele and Zoom. Tata Tele is a strategic partner of Zoom in India. We are very happy to serve our customers and bring Zoom as a product to our customers. If anything related to Zoom as a service by Tata Tele, or any queries related to it, my panelists are there. In case there is any question that you want me to answer, we'll be very happy to answer. With this, I would like to stop myself. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for a great session. Now we are quickly moving on to our expert panel discussion on building business resilience. And to take it ahead, first I would like to welcome the moderator for the panel, Dr. Suresh Shah, Head Innovation and Technology, Mahindra and Mahindra Finance. Welcome, Dr. Suresh Shah. And we have our panelist, Mr. P.S. Reddy, Global Chief Technology Officer, StarTech BPO. I think he is joining in a while. And also we have Professor Ram K. Verma, Chief Mentor, Academics and Research and Development, Techno India Group. Welcome, Professor Verma. And Mr. Rajesh Gupta, Vice President, Product Marketing, ICS Enterprise, Tata Telebusiness Services. Welcome, Mr. Rajesh Gupta. And Mr. Anand Bala, Manager, SMB Sales, India and SARC, Tata Telebusiness Services. Welcome, Mr. Anand Bala.
Great. Thanks, Nishant. We had a great presentation from the partners where they talked about enough in terms of how Zoom is not just a technology; it's more to do with a kind of solution which is for future. So in India, especially, we say e-business is less to do with electronics and more to do with emotions. At least Zoom has captured in their full arena where all the emotions, whatever people try to connect through corporate or through education, through healthcare, medical, again the industries on automobile and other areas, Zoom has already thought of and worked out a great solution part of it. And again, when we heard from the presentation, they emphasized more in terms of how to bring out a talents, transformation, trust, where Tata Teleservices is more focusing upon. And again, if you see the kind of post-COVID, the expectations set, it's not just going to be just like working from office, it's going to be work from home. And the kind of expectation set part of the video collaboration, video connect, video expectation, not only from the official perspective, it's going to be more on learning and development. That's where the education is going to play a major role in terms of how similar things can make more in terms of just not a tool, which is going to have more collaboration omni channels, which will take us to the multiple folds of communication, even though it's again, we had tough times during crisis and now post-COVID, we will have enough in terms of trying to take it up, where Zoom already has a motto of creating something of happiness in every customer. No, that looks very good in terms of like they have already focused like that kind of outcomes what it is, and we can even see that it's a one way to unwired world. Like no, you can connect everywhere, like no, connect anybody and try to bring it out. So keeping that prospects, we will try to go get into the panel today. The panel which has enough in terms of talking more towards a topic which we had said enough in terms of building the business resilience with secure collaboration. If you see a part of that enabling a smart enterprise starts with the kind of expectations set part of the essential infrastructure and using as much as virtualization tools, trying to get as much as with the latest operating systems and migration of information, which takes us towards to the collaboration with mobility and IoT, and using the cloud where we can try to integrate with the social media, creating ourselves more available and affordable using web presence. That's what the real management is trying to collaborate through using technology and trying to empower, ensuring a smart enterprise. So keeping that slogan and trying to get as much as towards that, we would like to start the first question with our professor, where we would want to know exactly how has business communication changed the post-pandemic outbreak.
Well, as I see today, because the compulsions were remain home and also do not, let's say, touch. These were two compulsions of the pandemic. And therefore, for continuity of business, what you need to do was to remotely do the same job which you were doing, and therefore use technology. And that's where the Zoom and many other platforms, not only Zoom, there are many platforms which came up and helped. Take the example of education. In the education, we delivered content using I think our old notes. We made them in terms of PPT or transformed them into deliverables and use one of these tools. In fact, very simple tools we used, not only Zoom, but simply conveying the information to students, and at times using TV as a channel, because at everywhere the internet is not available. So we played. And then when it came to examinations, in fact, a lot more solutions came that we can do online examination. Now you need not come to the real room, and the questions were distributed, and then we could control in a particular location, see the movement of the student using a camera, and that's how we conducted examinations. So there has been a great change, in fact, buying habits we talked about that, in fact, they're going to stay now. We don't go out. We almost buy everything from within our house on the computer. But these are the trends, and these trends are likely to continue. At the same time, I think I'm still an orthodox, and I believe, particularly in the education sector, when it comes to technology, that without really soiling your hands, you do not learn the concept. You don't become perfect. So there has to be, that's how in IT Delhi, what has been done, the postgraduates and research scholars were even asked to remain in the hostels and labs, and they came out with innovative products, which you see now. IT Delhi came out with quite a few patents pertaining to the COVID solutions. So it has to be a hybrid, it has to be a mix and match, and definitely the trend, technology will be much more useful and used, and we see a trend continuing even after the post-academic, post-pandemic. Thank you.
Great insight, sir. You started with the kind of collaboration through education, and you said even students got mature enough to get into the examinations and other things, part of sitting at home. And you mentioned very clearly to say, like, we can sit at home and try to get whatever it is, not just connectivity, it's all the relevant in buying out sitting at home. No, that's a concept which is growing high. And even though you said like you're orthodox, but you sound very clearly stating it up like it's not soiling hands. It's like that's the way learning happens in India. Because in India, we had enough to do with more of a transformation, but everything comes part of our life, where we had that culture of getting, when we get things more serious and critics, we are the first people to react and come out of it. Great insight, sir. And again, looking more perfection, it's not so easy, but still we are moving towards perfection, makes sound, and it creates more in terms of it. Thanks for your highlights, sir. Now we'll move to Mr. Rajesh Gupta, and the second question we have to find out, are we witnessing the dynamic changes in customer behavior lately, especially in SME and enterprising segments?
No, very true. And I think I like the way Dr. Ram said. I will quote few things, and that's important. Is my audio clear, Dr.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Perfect. Somewhere we think that because of pandemic, because of lockdown, we are using Zoom, and this is true, right? But what has changed the customer behavior, and this I experienced as like yesterday, when customer invited, and as you know, a little bit of opening up has happened. So my sales guy is going and meeting a customer, but sales guy wanted me to join the meeting. Now it's a physical work, physical plus digital both together. So for customer relationships sake, sales guy is going to customer meeting physically, rather than senior leadership team, I'm joining on a Zoom call. And this is what I'm seeing, the change in the customer behavior. If you go back 2 years back, this was not happening. It was always like both of us, the salesperson and myself, will travel to a customer location and have the meeting. But this changed to me, which means that even all the customers, even I'm saying the person who is using Zoom or the customer, the phygital will remain. You will see the way behavior changing, that few team, a 10 people team who is meeting for last deal, probably 3 will meet physically, 7 will join on a call. And look at the productivity improvement because of that, because I can move from, in the same day, I can meet 5 customers without physically moving, but my sales team, my relation team is still sitting with customers. So that That's the change which will happen. What I believe that all the customers is also looking at that way, so-called a physical plus digital working together. That's the change I have observed.
Great insight, sir. Like again, you started with the kind of expectation set part of COVID. It's not just transforming lives; it has transformed even the culture and way of communication. And specifically, you said the customer behaviors. We strongly believe, because in India again, belief behavior, no, which empowers business to get best benefits. No, that's how we get trained and we try to get convert ourselves. And again, you said both salesperson and the senior has created different paths of approaching. Where earlier we still claim it's one-to-one, but it's now one-to-many, many-to-one. It's again getting into the way of things which matters a lot. At the end of the day, we are able to reach and speed, because in sales it's very clear to find mantra is reach and speed. How fast you can reach to all the people, how speed you can get into the service, both we are able to use through the channels. So at the end of the day, it matters a lot, no? How the business get engaged and try to get into it. Thanks for your insight, sir. Now we'll move to Mr. Anand Bala. But before getting into Mr. Anand, where you have heard about the Zoom, and again, even we are seeing so many things part of it. So again, I'm trending it to say, like in India, e-business is less to do with electronics, more to do with emotions. At least I can trigger it out in a circle of Zoom, the services which you people have captured. And again, it matters a lot, not just entities. It's more to do with how we can even redo things. How do we can do automate in similar things, and how do we can make three things, like one is time, effort, and money. Now these all three are going to get saved and trying to protect out of it. So for you, the question is secure collaboration the key to succeed in the increasing change business environment?
The answer is resoundingly yes. Is it the key? Maybe not. Maybe there are multiple keys to drive business success, not just secure collaboration, but it is definitely one of the keys to drive collaboration, right? And collaboration is in many senses here to stay. The hybrid economy is here to stay, as Professor Ram kind of pointed out very, very appropriately. And I think Rajesh used a very nice word, phygital, right? A lot of this is here to stay, right? And let's look at it industry-wise, right? In the financial space, where Dr. Suresh, I know you'll be very aware, archiving is so important, right? So that all communication is secure, financial information remains secure, you're able to archive data properly, you are able to archive content of meetings, right? Very, very easily for you to retrieve down the line. And all this done in a very, very secure manner. I think Zoom has done very well here. I think what's critical is listening to what the market is saying, making sure that we are able to adapt and adopt, either in terms of market says we want you to work on, let's say, for example, live translation, live transcription, right? How can we increase inclusion? As Rajesh was referring, you've got some people in a hybrid environment, you've got some people in a room, and how do you bring this collaborative environment together? So collaboration is here to stay. Gartner says about 30 to 37% will be work from home, even in a country like India. The recruitment market is getting hot, tougher to find talent. You will be going hybrid even to hire. But even as companies, particularly in the SMB space, they will have constraints. They will say, no, we need to be physically present. We need to be physically together. While the company itself may go physical, what about the ecosystem in which they operate, right? What about their customers? What about their supply chain? What about their talent pool? So the ecosystem in which organizations operate have more or less gone hybrid. So it is more or less here to stay, and communication will always need to be secure, and that's going to continue. And we've got great partners like TTSL. We've got great platforms like Zoom and other platforms, as Professor Ram alluded to help us kind of work through this. I hope I answered that question for you, Dr. Suresh.
That's again great answer. Where again I didn't mention is the key. It's not only one key, because even in Zoom you have two O's. Like no, you have two different circles. World is already built in. So one planet and another planet you can accommodate. That's how it is felt as of now. The question adjoined to that is what is your actually an expectation or the trend suggestion for people who are from the education sector, where a professor has mentioned, like, no, a word he used is something called orthodox, meaning not interested in technology, but would like to use it. So for the crowd, like what is from Zoom and how to make it simpler for their use?
I think Professor Ram was being very unfair to himself when he said that what he was doing was very simple or orthodox. I think people like Professor Ram in India have kind of been leading the way in terms of making sure that we drive inclusion, even when it's difficult in a pandemic environment, right? Putting up notes to make sure that all students have access. That's a great step moving forward, right? And I think innovation is very, very key there. Let me look at it from a personal example. 3 kids at home. My son, who's a 5-year-old, is learning sight words on an iPad. My daughter, who's in the 4th standard, does Zumba classes or dance classes every evening. And my niece, who lives with us, has been and has yet not gone back, despite being the 9th standard, to school full time. It's very challenging for teachers to deliver such a pedagogical environment, such different age groups, to be able to deliver their pedagogy, to be able to deliver their curricula online is challenging, right? But platforms like Zoom, and I think we've done a very good job of it, where one, we've been able to bring in security, put very, very granular tools in the hands of teachers and administrators to make it easier for children to participate. To make it something like a whiteboard, right? As simple as a whiteboard. Breakout rooms that allow students to go into different groups to do homework. And in a time when social interactions are lost for children, which is a very, very young age, the pandemic has kind of kept them at home, lost social interactions. Something as simple as a breakout room with 6 or 7 children coming together just to discuss homework. I know, for example, my son, once a month, they do a friend session where on a virtual meeting, 6 of his classmates come together, each time a different bunch of students, just to interact. Those social skills are very important from an education standpoint. So whether it be whiteboards, breakout room for training, enablement, even security, bringing these tools together for teachers, I think we've done a pretty good job. And what we have to underline is, if education and inclusion in education is going to be a very, very high priority for us going forward, hybrid in higher education will not go anywhere. Imagine now higher education is available to almost anybody because of a hybrid classroom. One of our partners showed us something along with TTSL the other day, where they had a classroom in a university setup where some students are joining from outside. There are some students inside the classroom. There is a whiteboard on which the teacher is actually writing complex, I think it was math formulas, right? And there is a camera that intelligently is able to focus just on that whiteboard. And as soon as a student asks a question, you will find a screen in the classroom, quickly focus on that student, give it a focus mode when that question appears. So this kind of collaboration for educators in the higher education space, I think will be exceptionally powerful for them in education. And it is a segment for which we continue to try and innovate. Yes, sorry, Professor Ram, I didn't see that.
Thanks for this. When we talked about, we have deliberated this system very largely, both at UGC, AICT, and across. I think the consensus is that when it comes to higher education, particularly higher education, learning through classroom, I think all these solutions can still do. But when it comes to practical learning and learning, because everybody wants a person, not a theoretician, but they all want, in fact, all of you want somebody who can do a job when he comes to your, your factory or your institution. So until as you really actually do something, and that's where lots of investment in higher education goes into setting up of laboratories and kind of, systems where you go and do practice and see whether it really works, isn't going to be so easy. In fact, I was also a member of a panel when we were thinking of, can we do experimentation online? So HP had some system of that kind, and they were trying to, do things online. And kind of a trend came in that everybody in all higher education, particularly in engineering, schools which were affiliated schools or colleges, they were all using computer to do experimentation. And therefore, the child knew nothing. And as you see today, you are all calling or saying that Indian engineers are 30% employable or 40% employable, rest are not. So do you want to build that kind of a system through kind of, online systems or remote lecturing? That's where I said I still believe that by soiling hand or doing things by yourself, instill confidence in you as how do you really achieve that system. That is that's my intake, and that's what we've been debating in various forums. And with great things, I think in higher education, particularly engineering, we are coming out with a formula of 60% in the class and or in the college or physical, and 40% could be online, and you can have credit from anywhere. So that is the system. Perhaps that is what you're calling hybrid system. Might perhaps go, and as the technology improves, certainly it might ratio might further improve. Thank you. Thank you.
Great insight, sir. Again, to just relate part of my research is more on keeping education simple in India. Again, especially I promote a lot more from rural India. I can say, like in one of the quotes from Mahabharata, it was asked, saying like, who is the happiest person? I'm talking about 2000 years old. They've written. They said a person who doesn't take debts, meaning he don't borrow money, a person who grows his own food, a person who lives in his native. Now I'm adding one more, a person who learns whatever he wants for his survival. So which can be empowered by Zoom and other kind of technology, which is going to make him to take it out. So happiest person 2000 years before, they have already made how to be and what it is. So that's a origin of ours, which takes us to that, and the kind of transformation which is mattering a lot at the end of the day. And surely the education reaching to the last mile was a dream, like for all of us to say today, the technology which it spreads and it even reaches to at least 70-80% of our population. That's why really we are taking it out. Surely the technology has made that dreams, at least we can think of, we can go close to them, we can make matter of it, and especially from education and health, where we are planning as much as part of the technology. Surely great thoughts. And again, Mr. Anand, you have sown the seed, and professor has harvested on that to find how information can take it forward on that. Great insights. Now we will move to Mr. Abhijit Roy. Your presentation was very great. At least for me, I got that gola which you have shown more in terms of how Zoom can do it. Really, a lot more can send, so that people from education, people from corporates has to go through the slide to find how we can make the particular information not just a tool. It's more to get yours. Like it might talk about your past, it might talk about your future. It will take you to both the places by collaborating through tunnels. So that's a great one. For you, the question is, what are your views on unified business communications? What are you evolving with changing times?
I think unified communication is something which is, I think, which is here to stay. And I gave a background is that the times have changed, right? The way we've been doing a business probably 1.5 years back, the way we do business is, it has evolved a lot. And with this evolution, the way we need to adapt ourselves has to change. And hence I said, the word unified communication is, what does it typically mean, right? See, if you look at the way we communicate in today's scenario, I'm sending someone a text message, I'm sending in business a kind of chat, I'm trying to call him up in my phone, I'm trying to do a meeting with him. What unified communication means that you are bringing all on one single platform and trying to deliver that experience to the customer, which is superior, right? So if I need to talk with Mr. Suresh, or if I need to talk with Mr. Rajesh Gupta or any of Anand Bala out here, what I need to do is I need not pick up the phone. What I do, I'll go in my particular application, one unified application, which I use Zoom very exclusively. And then I see whether Anand is in a call or something, and either I can start a chat with him, I can start a call with him. If I need to pull in someone, multiple people in this particular call for a client meeting thing, I bring in those people. Now, what am I doing in this entire process? Is that I am trying to cut short those or cut down those inefficiencies in the system and trying to reach to my customer or to my end goal very, very efficiently, right? And that's the need of the hour, right? Be it education segment, unified communication and collaboration. Anand gave a beautiful example of whiteboarding, right? Today's scenarios, whiteboarding or even those breakout rooms are very extremely useful for any segment like education, right? That's where you bring those engagement with the students, the teacher to engage with the students, or the various kind of projects that you're giving to this particular students get enhanced, right? So unified communication is supposed will grow. One platform with so many services, one unified experience is going to stay, and that's the future in which I think Indian organizations are evolving, right? And organizations who adopt to this changing technology or this unified communication platform, they are going to see the result of it much faster than any organization who are slightly laggard in adopting to it. That's my firm belief, because I've been interacting with so many small and medium business organizations, and they're all evolving in this particular technology of unified communications, right? One platform, one experience, that's it. I think I hope Mr. Suresh, Dr. Suresh, I've been able to answer to your query.
That's again great insights. Since you've taken the whiteboard example, I can say last 2 years during COVID, we have taken the whiteboard concept for even AGMs. Okay, so today all AGMs go telepresence. People want something to be recorded. Whomsoever committed, they want with their signatures to be captured part of it. So it matters a lot. And again, that's what I said. Like, no, Indians, we are all not so easily acceptable or adoptable. But really, the crisis and we face the things has to come in. We are the people first to get into that, and we know how to use it. That's why I'm still putting it out transparently, and we are the people to take it in the right sense. Thanks for the information, sir. Now we move to Professor sir. The way you said we got that concept, the way the standardization in technology, you know very well today. A for Apple, people don't want that. They say A, then they leave it to the student. Student should say what is that. They can call it father names or mother name, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, we want people to be more innovative. People want to be in their way, and education should be more like Gurukul. So which so far the teachers, you know, they put hard and what you call sweat and blood to make it happen. And in India especially, you can see next to father mother, we believe in the education, means the person who teaches me how to live and how to survive. So keeping that hold, like I would want to take it from you to find how significant is digital transformation. What can help accelerate the digital journey for all of us? Sir, you're on mute.
Sure enough, as I see that last almost 2 years, the all segment of education have survived on digital platforms. And rightly, you are rightly saying that the platform, a Zoom platform or unified communication systems are going to stay for longer, stay further. And education, of course, will usher and take it on board. The education is also, you know, variety, because we look at push and pull systems. If you go to IIT students, you don't need to teach them, they will learn by themselves. And I was some time back in Sharda University, which is near Greater Noida here, and you go and talk to those students, even in the class, it's difficult to pull them in. So to read or to study by themselves, I think is somehow not imaginable. And therefore, we are turning out students the way, or graduate the way we are turning out. But something needs to be done in terms of using technology to upgrade people's knowledge, people's experience, their expectation, and the way they want to learn. Particularly now, I see, in fact, my grandchild is in class 9th, and he's studying in a very good school. But I think it is the mother who teaches him rather than the teacher or online. So if that is going to be scenario of usage of technology, that it is the parents who will have burden of teaching or even doing assignments and submitting them online, I don't think that system will continue. So somewhere, some in between way we have to find out. That's my take on that. Thank you.
Great insight, sir. You added one more to Zoom as business, where so far we thought of work from home. Now even study from home is going to be one of the business where the parents can also play together on that. And again, you rightly pointed out the next generation, we would want to get more in terms of that information, what we still believe like it's like ancestors' wealth, which we are trying to transform through digital and trying to get taking to ensure them like they take a what you call peace and trustworthy in terms of faith on the information, and they can make that for addressing that critical future of whatever crisis they are going to face through. So great insight, sir. We'll surely come back to you on that. We will move to Mr. Rajesh Gupta now. On that, you heard how education systems and especially we talked even from the financial side, a lot more now is getting recorded. Like even if you see recent RBI has given an what you say circular stating it like wherever you are working as work from office, we have to give the report which is captured part of the camera, digital camera, surveillance camera, as a report to them whether people are social distancing, they are following all the guidelines which is given part of it. So now they are not physically going by any of the information we supplied, they want to see the digital information. So even financials is now getting more closer towards how to capture such information and give it authentic. See, when you are giving to regulators, you can't just float some information, you have to verify it, you have to check it. But a technology which is fully authentic and verifying such things and sending it, it is easy for us to forward similar connects or links to those people to take it up. So your take on that, sir, Rajesh?
No, very true. So I think these digital platforms, and Zoom is one, definitely the leading one there. They have the capability to record the stuff, so it becomes a regulatory requirement as well. You can save this stuff, keep it for longer duration. The second big innovation which I'm seeing happening in the collaboration space is the AI, artificial intelligence, on top of the recorded meetings, right? And that makes it a very useful stuff. And this is not possible without, let's say, cloud kind of thing. And as for a small business, if let's say you're using Zoom and you're using for 5-10 years, there are multiple recordings with the customer or with this thing, and you want to analyze the data saying what has been discussed. And this happens, right? So somebody joins the organization, wants to understand what has gone past. All the stuff is coming out with the recordings, getting into artificial intelligence, machine learning. And this is what I think. So one is the regulatory aspect of it, which is, I would call it compliance. So we will anyway do whatever mechanism because I have to do business. But my other thing, which I find more useful, is that how does this data help business to become more intelligent, business to become more customer centric, and that is what the storage or the recordings which they're talking about is able to do, the artificial intelligence. Does it answer your question, sir?
Yeah, great, sir. One add-on question to that, to find, since you mentioned more in terms of business and customer, how do you see, especially Tata Service, teleservices as geared up for similar thing, or what type of unique solutions, since Tata Tele is already built up so that it will be useful for that, like in the interest of audience?
No, very true. That's also a good question. So there are two things. One is we have a great partner with Zoom, which has its inbuilt features of recording all this stuff. We have a cloud services where using an artificial intelligence, you can algorithms on the video recording or the images taken to the meeting. And that service could be provided jointly along with the Zoom. And third, and now I'm connecting back to education. So Professor, just 2-3 days back, I was talking to a university, and university is saying that when students come to the campus, it's the most secure environment, right? Parents, you feel good. If your 4-year-old is going to school, you say it's a secure environment. But do you feel the same security with a laptop? Maybe the video collaboration is secure, but the laptop environment is not. If he's doing an email, if he's doing chat with somebody, it's not secure. We the Tata Tele have a secure classroom concept where you're saying, I will give you along with the Zoom, I'll be able to do an email security. So ensure that the kid on online device does not go to an unwanted URL, does not write unwanted words in the communication. I can also give you a laptop security from virus protection like phishing attack, which happens, right? Today, as Anand was talking about his kids, right? They're spending 6 to 7 hours online on a device. How do you ensure that there's no phishing attack happening? So there are two solutions I'm talking about. One is using artificial intelligence on the recorded stuff, and then ensuring the classroom, the physical security of the university is delivered on a digital platform is what we do. So Zoom plus security service put together make it a university class secure classroom. So, and there are multiple of solutions we can talk at length, but these
great, sir. Great insights again. Rightly pointed out, Mr. Anand Bala said not only his kids, even his niece, whomsoever comes from outside, also will using it. So it's for him more secure, and he should have more towards preventing the solutions. Again, rightly pointed out. Now, one is information. Second is how authentic, how we are more protected, preserved, and again how we get into the right and relevant information. Again, it matters a lot. Keeping similar solutions will give us not only right and relevant information, timely information, timely taking it out what best we can do it, and they can again we can revolve around saying like it will save and protect time, money, and efforts, which matters a lot at the end of the day. And at least post COVID, under the humanity grounds, let us focus more to build the organizations, build the education centers, build even medical and health areas. With such contribution, it matters a lot. At the end of the day, we will have enough impact in terms of to the society and to the internal. Right, sir? I'll come back to you on that. Now, Mr. Anand Bala, you heard so many things which everybody has put in their prospect. From me to you, the question is like, how especially the future business communication is going to be. And again, you have seen pandemic, we have gone through right, wrong, whatever is available. Now, what is the structured way of taking things post pandemic for the businesses especially?
I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, digital transformation will score 11 for SMBs and SMEs. It's going to be critical, and we alluded to it in a little earlier where we said that your ecosystem in which you operate, your customers, your supply chain, your employees, your ecosystem will be hybrid in many senses, and they'll be doing a lot of things electronically. So I think it is going to be critical. Let me try and put this into 3 buckets, right? People, process, and tech, the simplest 3 that we learned, right? So in terms of people, where do you find the talent, right? Can you afford the talent? Where can you find the talent? How do you hire it? Well, if you're willing to work in a hybrid environment, you can cast your net far. You'll probably be able to get greater talent. You'll probably be able to get greater talent at a better price, right? Second, let's look at scenarios where you have all hands calls, right? Now you have a dispersed. Previously, once a year, you take that trip for one night to Goa and bring 100 people together. Nobody remembers what happens next morning most of the time, right? Now, imagine being able to do these conversations with the entire team to pep them up, critical announcements, right? You're able to internally bring all your employees across cities and locations together on a regular basis, deliver a very clear, crisp message, engaging with people, right? Customers are also people. Customers are also critical. Your sales reps engaging with customers. How many more customers can you reach out to in a day? By being able to reach out to more customers in a day, are you able to impact the bottom line, right? Support. Customers having issues. Do I have to have support teams everywhere? Can I not quickly get onto a first level call, try and diagnose, try and figure things out? Can I do that in a video call? I read in the pink sheets the other day that one of the largest automobile manufacturers in the world has the ability where when your car is sent for servicing, you can actually request that I want to see the cleaning when it happens. I want to see them change the oil because I don't know whether consumables are being changed or not, right? So even the way people are interacting with their customers from a service standpoint is also changing, right? Processes, right? We want to increasingly measure everything that we do in the hope that by measuring, we're able to drive more efficiency, right? And I think that's a practice that most organizations want to adopt. Can we measure the right things? And when we measure the right things, are we able to drive efficiencies, right? Let's look at something like CRM, or the sales process itself. Can I get my sales teams in front of the right set of customers? When they're looking at their CRM, can I make sure that with one click of a button, we are able to make a call out, or within one click of a button, we are able to start a video call. Within one click of a button, I'm able to send out a calendar invite to that customer, right? To be able to integrate with your existing business processes. It could be a support center, an inbound support call, right? I have a set of business processes. How do I integrate collaboration within this? Can I start a chat conversation with my customers very quickly and very easily, right? This is where I think the process angle is very important for SMBs and SMEs. The last is technology itself. The technology that I adopt as an SMB or SME, is it, first of all, easy to adopt, right? We know of so many projects where we bring in and we drop very good applications, but the adoption rates are very low, right? I think they used to have knowledge management applications years ago, right? Adoption rates were staggeringly low. Can we bring in technology that people can just pick up, start using, adopt, absorb, without us having to invest in very specific training? Does it just work, right? So from a technology standpoint, something that's easy, something that's secure, something that just works and reduces overall technology overheads for the SMB so that they can focus on what is important to them. Back to you, Dr. Suresh.
Yeah, it's again great insights. You started with saying like how to engage with people, support them, try to get it. Even visibility while doing vehicle service. Like no, people doesn't want to just give the vehicle for service. They want to know everything happening. With the again, there are two types of transaction. One is what we can even write and give it. Another one is we can physically see with the pictures supported. We call it as authentic supporting, meaning it's not just like that as a support. It's authentic. It's more reliable resource which you try to take it. And again, you mentioned very clearly to find out how people can get more information, not on the transactions, more on the engagement. No, they can believe it because that's what they're looking for. So again, for you to get an add-on question to that, we want to know, will hybrid approach in education will also enhance employment, especially employment opportunities? It's not a right question to you, but again,
it's a very good question. It's an excellent question. No, it's an excellent question. It's an excellent question. And my answer is yes. Resounding yes again, right? And the reason being, it's about access, right? Does everybody have access to education the way they want it, right? Do I have to physically be present in order to upgrade my skills? Do I have to be somewhere? Do I, for example, need to know the language in which somebody is teaching? And let me take a fairly unique use case here to try and illustrate. There is a company called Kites. Full disclosure, Zoom did acquire this company some time back, or a part of it at least, is my understanding. And what Kites does is, it's able to, in an academic environment, put on a speaker literally to a teacher. And when that lecturer is talking, it is able to simultaneously in real time translate what this person is saying in multiple languages.
Great.
Take a moment there and just think about the virtuous cycle that's being cracked here. We are breaking down language barriers in education, not just one brick at a time, but saying, can I get multiple languages out in real time when it's speaking? Why? This is futuristic. I'm not denying it. It's still some time away, but this real-time translation is already available in many platforms. But to get it in so many languages in so many ways, I think is not far away. So the more access you are able to provide to education, the more skills a person is able to build. With more skills, automatically comes increased employment opportunity. At the other end, meeting this person halfway is the fact that he need not move or migrate or move to multiple places to encounter employment opportunity. The employment opportunity can start coming to people now because of technology like collaboration and unified collaboration. Back to you, Dr. Suresh.
Yeah, great. Again, the question why I tagged to you, some of the product names are called as the products. People say, can I get a Xerox of it? People doesn't say, can I get a copy of it? The same way today, they didn't say, I attend the interview. I said, sir, what time is the Zoom call? What is that? No, please, we will meet in the Zoom. So the name has taken, and the people are looking more positives and forward towards their lives getting lighter. So that's why now Zoom has gone into that level where now they have to ensure the kind of employment. Again, that's what we are looking. Such products can make difference, and really it matters a lot. And again, it's a great answer. And again, we'll go to Mr. Abhijit Roy, where you heard about people now talking about more on that. I will put from the financial perspective, since it's more for Tata Tele, you will have it more. See, we had something called a normal cloud. We started with a private cloud and we moved to public cloud, and we start off using a hybrid cloud also. But somewhere during COVID, we heard something new thing called community cloud, where the customers want to participate, customers want to select what they want. If you see, that is what we thought it's going to be future, but we didn't took it much on that. But over a period of time, we found all the clouds are moved towards the hybrid cloud, and again, private and public to the community cloud, where the customer is selecting all the financial services or the banks, NBFCs, even dealer brokers he selects. So then what we did, we come out with a concept called earn to pay model. We'll make you to earn so that you pay for us, because I've changed now, because otherwise I'm not going to compete with the world. So by changing it, we found minimum something around 7 billion customers of us, minimum at least of the percentage has started using it, started irrespective of the rural India, again, connectivity, technology, English speaking, all this apart, but still people started using it to create something called an earn to pay model. So we have to forcibly change, because the model is changed and the COVID has put us on the change. So how do you people see as businesses coming out, like how you would have now seen these 2 years, because Tata is not just a small organization. Even Tata is the first company to communicate when people went tougher times, to say like, please take care of yourself, health is more important. That's a communication from the top level Tata has made to everyone. So Tata is not just looking just as a business, it's more into creating values. So from you, sir.
See, Tata has been always there, and I'm saying I'm not only say Tata, any organization who values, I would say, employees and his workforce would look forward to it, right? I'll give an example, and I'll give an example of how, we have all of us have evolved. Is that if you look at the way we should do our conferencing, right? We should do a conferencing or a normal audio conferencing mode. Right? That has been the conventional way of doing a conferencing. We used to, if you remember, even 2 years back, we should do that, right? We should dial a number, put a pin code out there, and all of us would be connected. Some of us would go drop. You never notice that. Some of us would be. It's more of a monologue that you should do, right? And just imagine what has happened in the current scenario, right? In the last 2 years, how it has happened. Now you do not hear too much of the earlier audio conferencing calls. Of course, there are a lot of organizations who are still doing it, but it has evolved, right? It has evolved. Now, video conferencing or video collaboration is the new audio collaboration. That's what it is called. Because, as I said, and I said in some of my slides, that the moment you have a face with to who we can relate, and that's very important, emotionally and physically both. Because when I'm speaking with someone, I need to see his face, I need to see his reactions, I need to see how he is reacting to my thing, how my body gesture is, or what his body gesture is to what I'm speaking, right? That gives me confidence, right? That's the adoption of, that's the, I would say, change that we have all gone through, and all of us have gone through this particular change, right? And then going forward, I will touch base with what Rajesh Gupta had said in his keynote is, what is going to add more in future is something called AI driven, artificial intelligence driven, right? You probably, I'll take an example of Zoom, right? In Zoom, many of my customers say they want an automated transcript, right? Just look at the evolution step that I'm talking about, right? Audio, video. Now it says what I'm talking right now, it should be transcribed back to me, right? In a format that I can take out, right? That's what technology adoption is, right? That's what artificial intelligence has gone into. And I'm sure when you look at more and more organizations in the future, this, be it Zoom or all the providers across the globe, are thinking on those lines. How do you bring in those artificial intelligence in my technology, my current platform, to make it more human friendly, right? And I strongly believe artificial intelligence is not going to take away jobs. It's going to enhance more and more jobs, because people are going to look forward to the technologies. And what ultimately all this thing does, this unified communication, or this, the movement that you said, you give a brilliant example of your sector, like PFSI sector as an organization has evolved, right? there are we see a lot of startups that we also deal with as a product person I deal with. I see a lot of my customers are also startups, right? They are looking for multiple kind of solutions. It's not only one solution or one bucket they're talking. You choose a very important word. The customer is the king. The customer needs to choose. We as a platform provider, right, can only understand his needs and give him the solution. And that's why I think Tata Tele plays a very important role, right? Because we have been dealing with our SMB customers for decades. We know how they feel, what kind of behavior they're in. So if you understand the customer requirement and you are able to derive that solution rather than a product, is what actually, as any organization would going to crack that deal, right? You need to understand your customer, understand the pain point of the customer, what they're saying, and work with your partners like Zoom and others to give him a solution. That's how I think the entire evolution is going to be. That's what the success mantra of any partner with whom the customer is working has to be. And choosing a right partner is very important for any customer. You will have a pain point area, you will have a problematic area. You need to go to a provider or a partner who can understand your pain point, has a bandwidth of solutions to give to you, and of course, at an efficiency that you are looking for. I think that's what, Dr. Suresh, that's the way I would like to answer your query. But constant change is the need of the hour. We cannot stay back in one norm and say this is going to, I'm sure this is going to evolve much more in the near future. It's not going to stay the same.
Yeah, well said again. You articulated very well to say, like, it's not just a technology or solution, it's more to get the engagement, and again the time, efforts and money has to get focused to change and get it at the tougher times, whatever which we rest out of it. And again, you said be very effective in terms of selecting the partner, even getting into those things. That's at the end of the day it matters, because it's not just a solution, it's an engagement for long term. It's a great insight, Mr. Roy. I'll come back to you, sir. Now we'll move to Professor, where we have mentioned enough in terms of why we have a digital approach, or if any other approach is required when it comes to connectivity or technology for education. Why digital approach? Any other approach is there which is important for education?
Yeah, okay. One, of course, is the hybrid. And the second is that you need to divide education into segments and see. One is education, another is skill building, and the third could be the question on experience or experiential learning. And that is how this question somebody raised. Hybrid approach will enhance employment opportunities. Sure enough, if it is going to be used for skill enhancement, and you can bring jobs to that village. And that is what now you see the government also planning that district-wise select one product and you focus on that and try and create an excellence onto that idea. And we are trying to nurture some of them, like in Bhadoi carpets, nearby Secunderabad, they make a lot of product which go to Middle East, trying to excel on that, bring in a lot more technology to make it smoother. And in fact, Khurja, all of you know, is a pottery center where potteries are done. Some time back, I was in European Commission and we sanctioned a project to China for improving quality and automation of pottery. And they did so wonderful job. Same thing was, of course, given to India, but we did not do that job. But now I think there is an emphasis on that, and you are seeing a lot of good product coming out. So I think the focus and in terms of skill building using technology is going to be a great thing to happen. And there, I think all these tools like Zooms or the Microsoft or other product could play a great role in educating and demonstrating. The good idea is to demonstrate live to that worker that if you do like this, perhaps the quality will improve, and which he can see simultaneously while he's doing. So that is very good. that is where I see that technology will certainly enhance the way we do business or the way we do things by showing them real demos, real technology way of doing things. So that is where I see much more rather than basic education. Basic education still need some other things to happen. Thank you.
Great insight, sir. Actually, but this is what my research again I keep on trying it in the rural India, where you rightly emphasize the skill sets. Again, that's where we are very strong, and the digital has to transform. Because whenever we go to rural India for even financial services, we ask them whether you want advice or you want money. They said we don't want both. Support us and create the purpose of information, which matters a lot, and take my brains to the world. Take our skill sets to the world. That's what the transformation they are looking from us. And rightly put, saying like the skill sets are really appreciated when it seems globally. So you're saying other way that don't think big, think the biggest. Bring the best. Don't compete nationally, compete globally. Try to bring out and create a value system where we are already strong. Such technologies will take us globally. Such technologies will identify unique. You can see during these 2 years, we found enough skill sets which is emerging out. We are able to use through technology. People are able to connect, and we can see more important information which is flowing through us. So it's just a great insight, sir. And we are again on the same path. That's what we are also confirming. Like it's not just education. This is a forecast which is from all the people trying to build and take this information with the culture, with the kind of skill sets what we have to the global world. We are trying to make it inspire local but aspire the global. No, that's the way things taking us to the next world. Thanks for your input. Now one final last question to Mr. Rajesh Gupta on that to find. Now you heard a lot more from people talking about education and other sectors finding it out. And you know very well Tata's Dairy Services already positioning out. If you want to say top 2-3, like people have to plan post-COVID or to take from you as solutions, which will get into this global aspiration, what you'd want to say?
Yeah, I would say not even two. I would say only simply
One.
stick to cloud. The SMPs today are running to a, let's say, financial constraint because of lockdowns, lack of economic activity, right? The best way is that go to migrate to cloud and use technology. Do not avoid it. So there is a tendency to say, come back saying, okay, once pandemic is over, do I need a video collaboration? Maybe not, I'll meet physically. My experience says that the behavior shifted completely. So SMBs, if they have to compete with a lesser financial strength, they have to move to cloud, adopt it, work with companies like us because we have a full product portfolio, collaboration to cloud, to infrastructure, everything. We'll be able to do a digital transformation which you really need to survive. Not even today, digital transformation of SMB is not about to compete or to grow. I think the only change happened after pandemic, the digital transformation required even survive. Otherwise, it becomes extremely challenging. That's the only thing I would say.
Great insight, sir. And again, one final last question to Mr. Anand Bala, where you were given the last commitment saying like we can get into the languages. What we see, which that's more authentic. I strongly support that because I myself use minimum 7 to 8 languages when I communicate to local, and I am the believer of you get more closer engaged when you talk in their mother tongue and give them the other side of that language also. Like when you say it's a family, like your mother could be your mother tongue, then father could be your other national language, and your brothers sisters could be other states, and when you bring everything together, that's what the reality comes in. Where a Zoom participates not just as a communication, it's playing part of the family. So one final question to you to say it's beyond language, beyond boundaries, beyond geography. What Zoom would want to say in one line to say this product or this solution which matters a lot for future, because now currently people use Zoom because of home or whatever, but the culture has get adopted. Now even post COVID goes, people are going to use Zoom. So one final thought and your message to us.
Delivering happiness. That's it. Zoom is here to deliver happiness in any form, shape or way that we possibly can, whether it's an SMB trying to rocket towards growth, whether it's a 4-year-old child seeing his teacher and smiling on a meeting, or whether it is a collection of people like this trying to just exchange ideas and see what works best. I think our focus is to deliver happiness and we're very happy to be doing it with a partner like TTSL in India as well. Back to you, Dr. Suresh.
Yeah, great. Again, one more extended to that to say, can we call it as a virtual communication officer in future?
We hope that we continue to work so easily that it just works, that you won't need a title or a designation to manage Zoom. I hope.
Sir, unfortunately, in corporates, we have to put a designation. Otherwise, like people will put their hands to say, no, we are not budgeted. So somewhere we have to budget it with the title so that no virtual collaboration or communication. Why I'm putting it out? This is a message for the startups because now they are slightly worried to say.
There are. You're right. You are right, Dr. Suresh. There are companies with job titles that are responsible for collaboration. There are companies with teams that take care of collaboration within the organization. Zoom's objective is that we continue to help companies manage these resources better, allow them to focus on what's important, while we make administration easier for SMBs. From an SMB standpoint, because like Rajesh kept pointing out, we are cloud-based. You log in, we are ready to go. Something as simple as single sign-on integration is a question of minutes for us to do. And when you have somebody as reliable as TTSL with you on the ground, it just becomes easier and easier to adopt and just pick up the adoption. And again, I come from personal experience. My father, who's touching 80, is on Zoom for his work. Whenever he comes on to get some work done, he's on Zoom to a 4-year-old. So it's just easy to use for SMB. So it's a good inroad. Will be critical for them in the future as well. These collaborations.
Great insights, sir. Again, thanks for your all valuable time. And again, the conclusion, what we see is what the future, at least post-COVID, we are going to have a collaboration, which is going to be a different one. As Mr. Rajesh Gupta pointed out, it's going to have huge in terms of secure, which is reliable and scalable information. And we can address the large volumes also. Again, like Mr. Anand Bala mentioned, how we can cater to different ways of communication, irrespective of the language, irrespective of the geography, and trying to keep the customer happier, which is very, very effective. And again, from Mr. Roy's point of view, he already touched enough in the presentation, but still he overrided with the case studies to find how we can go closer to the customer, how we can get engaged with the partners, selecting the partners right time and getting right solutions matter a lot. At the end of that, Mr. Professor Ramkumar Verma has enough touched on to say, like, every small thing comes with an, it's like, no, it's an unknown ethics to understand an unknown ethics. That's the way he put it, as an education to find, to say this all we know, but again, this has to get practiced and this has to get implemented. And let us get into the different geographies and rural India. That's where the real transformation comes out. And education, if it gathers, education is more towards it. That's so that we have reached to the crowd and we have made the message to the crowd to utilize the technology. Technology is success when it is simple and it is easy to use. That's where it's from the education side. Again, from the corporate side, again, we focus it out like just not as a technology, it's more as future solution, which empowers us to get collaborated with the people. And again, I'm taking that note to say, in India, e-business is less to do with electronics, more to do with emotions. Try to capture enough emotions, engage with that, and believe to create that behaviors captured part of the business, which makes us best benefits for all of us to make our survival easier and simpler. Thanks for all valuable time. Back to you, Nishan.
Thank you. I would like to thank each panelist for such an interesting discussion. And also, I would like to request all the attendees to fill in the feedback form, which is there in the 3D platform, because this will help us to come back, better every day. So, and also as a token of appreciation, I would like to ask all the speakers to stay back to accept the award of participation. So let's have the awards on the screen, please. Professor Ram K. Verma, Chief Mentor, Academics and Research and Development, Techno India Group. Thank you, Professor Verma, for joining, sir.
Thank you a lot.
Dr. Suresh Shan, Head Innovation and Technology, Mahindra and Mahindra Financial Services Limited. Thank you, Dr. Suresh Shan, for moderating such a wonderful panel, and thank you for your support.
It's my pleasure, and thanks for the same opportunity given to engage and get productive information collected from such great eminent speakers.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Abhijit Ray, DGM Product Marketing, ICS Enterprise, Tata Telebusiness Services. Thank you for supporting us.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Rajesh Gupta, Vice President Product Marketing, ICS Enterprise, Tata Telebusiness Services. Thank you, Mr. Rajesh Gupta.
Thank you. Pleasure was mine.
Mr. Anand Bala, Manager SMB Sales, India and SAR, Zoom Video Communication. Thank you, Mr. Anand Bala, for joining the session and sharing the wonderful insights.
Pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, panelists, for that amazing talk. Now, I again invite Dr. Suresh Shan for the final closing remarks. Thank you, everyone.